So it's my turn. Well, I'd also like to say a lot of thanks to so many people, and yes, especially to you guys, because I know that we couldn't have done it without each other. And also particularly because as friends and work colleagues, we share that love of nature and a particular set of values that I hope we bring to the work, so thank you. I also want to thank Green Books on behalf of us, and just the timing was amazing. You know, March 21st, we were sending off this big, what do they call it, like crowdfunding, but you know, like we've got to do it. And just then I was like, I wasn't supposed to be looking at the screen, I was supposed to be listening to what we were doing. And an email popped in saying, you know, from Green Book saying, we'd like to meet you in London on Wednesday. You know, literally before pressing the button, and I was just like, you're not going to believe this. You're not going to believe it. Anyway, so we went to this meeting, and you know, it was fantastic, wasn't it? It was an amazing thing, and so here we are now. So I just really thank you very much, because this is really important, isn't it, to be out there in a different way. And I also very specifically wanted to thank Jeff and our families. But Jeff, my husband, because as well, many a time we were working, and I know it's true for all of our loved ones. You know, lots of evenings. You know, it took 2 years almost, and looking after our children and feeding us. Well, we need to do it, and you know, so I want to extend that to you particularly, and also to your father, who also received many emails saying, please can you just look at it and check that grammar's right. He was an English secondary school teacher, so we have, you know, we're in good place for that, so thank you very much. And also to Catherine, who really helped us in the latter stages to really kind of focus our attention. And you know, it just, like you said, right, we said so many thanks, and we're going to forget people, but it's really important, and you know, really thank you, and especially to people on the land. I did write some notes.
Oh, and Duncan probably.
Oh, and Duncan, who couldn't be here, who was the graphic designer, who emailed today wishing to be here, and actually his wife is pregnant, about to give birth, so he can be here. So, you know, many thanks, and you know,
patience
all
for a
of
saint.
And to the children, you know, because they make me feel quite normal. And I love the fact that they're here hanging out, and that you're here, because you know, this is also why we did it, because we want there to be a future, you know, for these children, for all of our children. I wanted to say that it takes a whole community to do this, and you've mentioned it already. It takes the people, humans, and it takes the animals, and it takes the plants just to be here. So to really acknowledge that. And I was thinking of what's the key sentence for me, and I know it's true for us, is that we really want that nature matters, you know, that nature becomes something that really matters. And I know, I'm sure you're here because you know that. So I just wanted to say that. And one of the questions that's come up in a lot of our conversations recently has been about how do we preserve these woodlands, these pockets of woodlands around Sussex. And I've been looking at like Google Maps and stuff, and there's not many left, you know, and how do we look after them? And here we are wanting to bring these kids into the woods that is going to have an impact, and I think it's a really important thing for us to all think about. How is it that on the one hand we're saying yes, we want kids to get outdoors, but on the other hand there's very few pieces left that are needed for the wildlife, and I don't think we have the answer as such, only that we really hope that this book, whilst it gets everyone out and hopefully gets people engaged, that there's a real understanding, and we talked about this last night, didn't we, when we met, that there's a real understanding that with that comes a real caretaking and safeguarding of the land, and you know, we need all of the ideas to make sure that we do that, because otherwise nothing's really going to change as we see it, if I'm right, if I'm good on that. So that's a question that we hold, and I also remembered that in the early 1990s, which Sarah will remember because we went to Polytechnic together in Manchester, and we were out there, you know, fighting for the rainforests, you know, in 1992. And I'm looking at people around the room that I also know would have been involved in those times. And there was the Earth Summit, 1992 Earth Summit, and at that time it was the beginning of kind of questioning, at least in my knowledge of it. I mean, I'm sure people have done it many years before that, but it was the first time of kind of understanding that we have preserved the land, but at the same time we haven't let anyone in. So now we want to let people in, but we've got to find a way to do it well. So it's our wish that the book does that, but that it does that well. And just finally, I just wanted to say, in my 20s, there was a man that some of you will know, Lauren van der Post, and he wrote books about the Bushmen, and they had a real impact on me, and I know for all of us Indigenous people have played a huge impact in our life stories, from travelling or reading or whatever. And he was in his 90s, and I wrote him a letter at that time, and I got a letter back, which was really exciting, which I've lost, unfortunately. But I remember him saying, "Dear little lady," and I felt like a child, you know, the child and like a father sort of thing. And one of the things that stuck with me is that he said that we were all part of a community to come, and it's meant a lot to me that we are part of a community now, but also that's coming, and that, you know, that we really need that's a calling, I think, in us to be part of that community, and there's a profound sense of I don't know what it is, but it's profound, and I'm sure it's profound enough. A possibility, yeah. So we really would love you to be part of that, and we need you to be part of that, like the musician.
The big we, not us.
Yeah,
the big we.
The big we. So thank you very, very much. Yeah.